Have you ever walked into a room and felt completely invisible? Not because no one looked at you, but because they looked right through you? This is the story of Amara Thompson. A love that crossed cultures. A family dinner that became a silent battlefield. And the moment she realized that sometimes, the people who smile at you are the same ones shutting you out. Some families test you with questions. Ryan Kim's family tested Amara with silence. Amara Thompson was 29 years old and had spent her entire life bridging worlds. Born in Brooklyn to a Black American father and a Nigerian mother, she grew up fluent in 2 languages, comfortable in 2 cultures, and confident in her ability to belong anywhere. Her father's family brought her Southern soul food and Motown. Her mother's family brought her jollof rice and Afrobeat. Amara learned early that love could exist in translation. She was a social worker in Los Angeles, spending her days helping immigrant families navigate systems that weren't designed for them. She understood what it meant to be caught between cultures. Or so she thought. I've always been good at making people comfortable. It's literally my job. I walk into homes where people don't speak English, where they're scared of the system, and I help them feel safe. I thought that skill would transfer. I was wrong. 6 months earlier, Amara had matched with Ryan Kim on a dating app. His profile was simple. Software engineer. Korean American. 2nd generation. Photos showed a warm smile and kind eyes. Their first date was at a coffee shop in Koreatown. Ryan was different from anyone Amara had dated before. Quiet but not shy. Thoughtful. He listened more than he spoke. When he did speak, his words mattered. So, social worker. That must be intense. What made you choose that? My mom, honestly. She came to America from Nigeria when she was 23. Barely spoke English. The system was designed to confuse her. I watched her struggle with things that should have been simple. I decided I wanted to be the person who made it simple for others. That's beautiful. My parents, they have a similar story. Came here from Seoul with nothing. My dad still barely speaks English. My mom does all the talking. Do you speak Korean? Yeah, but my parents say I speak like a child. I stopped using it as much when I got to college. Wanted to fit in, I guess. Now I regret it. There are things I want to say to them that I don't have the words for anymore. That should have been Amara's first clue. But she was falling in love, and love makes you optimistic. Over the next 6 months, their relationship deepened. Ryan met Amara's family, her loud, loving, chaotic family. Her father taught Ryan how to make his famous mac and cheese. Her mother fed him jollof rice and told him stories about Legos. Her younger brother challenged him to video games. Everyone loved Ryan. He fit in seamlessly, quietly, bringing wine to dinners and remembering everyone's names. But Amara had never met Ryan's family. It was a Saturday morning in March when Ryan finally brought it up. They were at Amara's apartment, making breakfast together. Ryan was quieter than usual. Babe, you okay? You've been stirring those eggs for like 5 minutes. Yeah, I need to ask you something. My mom wants to meet you. Amara's heart lifted. She'd been waiting for this. 6 months was a long time to date someone without meeting their family. That's amazing. When? Next Sunday. Family dinner at my parents' house. The whole family will be there. My parents, my grandmother, my sister Emily. I'd love that. What should I bring? Wine? Dessert? What's the vibe? Traditional. Very traditional. My grandmother still wears hanbok sometimes. They cook Korean food. Everything is Korean. Okay, I can handle traditional. My mom's side is traditional too. I get it. Amara, there's something you should know. My family, they don't really speak English around each other. I mean, my sister Emily does and my parents can, but when we're all together, they speak Korean. It's just how they are. Something in his tone made Amara pause. Okay, so you'll translate for me? Yeah, of course. I just wanted you to be prepared. And my grandmother, she's from a different generation. She has very specific ideas about things. Ideas about what? Just Korean traditions. Family stuff. She's very proud of our culture. Sometimes she's stuck in the past. Amara wanted to push. Wanted to ask what he really meant. But she could see the tension in his shoulders. the worry in his eyes. She loved him. She wanted to make this easy for him. Ryan, I've spent my whole life navigating cultures. I speak Yoruba with my mom's family. I eat with my hands at Nigerian weddings. I can handle one traditional Korean dinner. It'll be fine. Ryan smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. He pulled her into a hug. I love you, you know that? I love you too. It was the first time either of them had said it. In that moment, wrapped in his arms, Amara believed that love would be enough. She had no idea what she was walking into. The following Sunday, Ryan picked Amara up at 5 p.m. She'd spent 2 hours getting ready. Not too casual, not too formal. A tasteful navy blue dress, her natural hair in a neat bun, minimal jewelry. Professional, respectful. She wanted them to see that she was worthy of their son. She'd bought flowers, white lilies, because the internet said they were appropriate for Korean homes. She'd practiced bowing slightly, the way she'd seen in videos. She was nervous but prepared. Ryan was quiet during the drive. You're nervous. Little bit. They're going to love me. Promise. Yeah. Yeah, they will. Ryan's parents lived in a beautiful home in the suburbs. Traditional Korean architecture mixed with California modern. A meticulously maintained garden. Everything was perfect, orderly, intentional. As they walked up the path, Amara heard voices inside. Korean voices, rapid and animated. Laughter. Family warmth. Ryan opened the door. We're here. Mom? Dad? The voices stopped. Ryan's mother appeared first. Small, elegant, her hair in a perfect bob. She wore a beautiful hanbok in soft green. Her smile was polite but didn't reach her eyes. Ryan, you here? Come, come. She barely glanced at Amara. Mom, this is Amara. Amara, this is my mom, Mrs. Kim. Mrs. Kim, it's so wonderful to finally meet you. Thank you for inviting me to your home. These are for you. Amara extended the flowers with a slight bow. Mrs. Kim took them with a nod, then immediately switched to Korean, speaking rapidly to Ryan. Amara didn't understand a word, but she understood tone. Questions. Many questions. Ryan answered in Korean, his voice defensive. Then his father appeared. Tall, stern-faced, wearing a traditional vest over a button-down shirt. He looked at Amara, nodded once, said something short in Korean, and walked away. He said welcome. He's just not talkative. But Amara heard what wasn't said. She felt it in the air, the coldness, the assessment. Then came Emily, Ryan's younger sister, 25, wearing jeans and a sweater, her hair dyed burgundy. She smiled genuinely. You must be Amara. Oh my God. You're gorgeous. I love your dress. Don't mind them, they're just awkward. Thank you. So good to meet you. Heads up, Halmoni's inside. Our grandmother. She's a lot. Just smile and nod. Amara followed Ryan into the living room, and there she was. Halmoni, Ryan's grandmother. Small, ancient, wearing a full traditional hanbok in deep burgundy. She sat in an armchair like a throne, her back perfectly straight, her eyes sharp and assessing. She looked at Amara, said nothing, then spoke in Korean to Ryan, her voice carrying authority and judgment. Ryan responded in Korean. His grandmother's lips thinned. She waved her hand dismissively and looked away. What did she say? She asked who you were. I told her. She said, let's just go sit down. They hadn't even reached the dinner table, and Amara already felt like she was failing a test she didn't know she was taking. The dining table was set beautifully. Traditional Korean dishes filled every available space. Kimchi, japchae, bulgogi, banchan in small dishes, rice in individual bowls. It smelled incredible, but Amara's appetite was gone. She sat between Ryan and Emily. Ryan's parents sat across from them. Halmoni sat at the head of the table, a silent matriarch surveying her kingdom. For the first few minutes, there was only the sound of serving food, chopsticks clicking against bowls. Then Mrs. Kim spoke, in Korean, to Ryan. The entire table erupted into conversation. Korean, flowing rapidly, everyone talking over each other. Laughter, stories, animated hand gestures. Family dinner warm and lively. Except Amara understood none of it. She sat there, smile frozen on her face, nodding occasionally, pretending to be part of something she was completely excluded from. She looked at Ryan, hoping he'd translate, but he was deep in conversation with his father, hands moving as he explained something technical. Minutes passed. 5 minutes. 10. 15. Not one word of English. Emily caught Amara's eye and gave her a sympathetic look, but even Emily was speaking Korean, fitting seamlessly into the family rhythm. Amara had never felt more alone. She ate her food slowly, focusing on the task. The food was delicious, but it tasted like ash in her mouth. She was decorative, a silent observer at her own boyfriend's family dinner. You like Korean food? Yes. It's delicious. Thank you so much for cooking all of this. That was it. 3 sentences in English, then back to Korean for another 20 minutes. Amara wanted to scream. She wanted to leave. She wanted to ask Ryan why he wasn't translating, why he was letting this happen. But she sat there, smiling, nodding, invisible. Halmoni spoke. Everyone got quiet, listening respectfully. She spoke for 2 full minutes in Korean, looking occasionally at Amara. Not at her eyes, but at her hands, her hair, her dress, assessing. When Halmoni finished, Mrs. Kim laughed nervously. Mr. Kim nodded seriously. Emily looked uncomfortable. What did she say? Just grandmother stuff. Traditions. Ryan, I've been sitting here for an hour understanding nothing. Can you please translate? I can't translate everything, Amara. They talk fast. Just give me a minute. But a minute turned into another 20. The meal continued. Amara stopped asking. She felt tears threatening and pushed them back. She would not cry at this table. Finally, after what felt like hours but was only 90 minutes, Mrs. Kim stood and began clearing plates. Emily stood to help. Want to help in the kitchen? Yes, please. In the kitchen, Emily and Amara washed dishes while Mrs. Kim put away leftovers. Mrs. Kim didn't speak to Amara, but Emily filled the silence with chatter about work, about LA, about anything normal. Emily, can I use your bathroom? Yeah, down the hall, second door on the right. Amara escaped into the hallway, grateful for a moment alone. She found the bathroom, locked the door, and looked at herself in the mirror. Her smile was gone. Her eyes were tired. She looked like she'd been through a war. She sat on the edge of the bathtub, letting herself breathe, letting the mask fall for just a moment. That's when she heard voices. Korean voices, coming from the living room nearby. She recognized Halmoni's voice, sharp and authoritative. Mrs. Kim responding defensive. Mr. Kim's deeper voice. They were talking about something serious. Then she heard Ryan's voice, strained, arguing. Amara knew she shouldn't listen, but something told her this conversation was about her. She opened the bathroom door quietly, stood in the hallway. The living room was around the corner. They couldn't see her, but she could hear them clearly now. Amara didn't understand the words, but she understood anger, judgment. Amara heard her name, Amara, mixed into Korean sentences. They were talking about her. Footsteps. Emily appeared from the kitchen, saw Amara in the hallway, saw her face. Oh no, you heard them. What are they saying? Amara, maybe you don't want to know. Emily, please. I have a right to know what they're saying about me in my presence. Emily looked torn. Then she sighed and pulled Amara further down the hallway, out of sight. Halmoni is saying, she's saying you're not suitable for Ryan. That you're not Korean, you don't understand our culture, you never will. She's saying Ryan is wasting his time with someone who can't give him Korean children, who can't pass down traditions properly. Each word hit Amara like a physical blow. Mom is saying she's worried, that she invited you to see for herself. She's saying you're very different from what she expected. Dad is saying Ryan is old enough to make his own choices, but he doesn't sound convinced. And Ryan is defending you. He's saying you're brilliant, kind, that you understand culture better than anyone. But Halmoni is saying understanding is different from being. She's saying he needs a Korean woman. Someone who fits. Someone who fits. Amara, I'm so sorry. This is exactly why I date white guys. At least with them, my family expects the disappointment. Amara wiped her eyes angrily. She wouldn't cry. Not yet. She just said. She said she refuses to speak English while you're here because if you're going to be part of this family, you need to learn Korean. Not them learning to include you. You adapting to them. She's saying dinner was a test and you failed. Something broke in Amara in that moment. Not sadness. Rage. She'd sat through that entire dinner smiling, trying, being respectful. And it was a test she was meant to fail. The language wasn't just about tradition. It was a weapon. A wall. A way to keep her out while appearing polite. Thank you for telling me. Emily, what are you going to do? I'm going to go have a conversation with your brother. In English. Amara walked back into the living room. The conversation stopped. Everyone looked at her. She looked straight at Ryan. Ryan, I'm ready to go. Now? We haven't had dessert yet. Now? Something in her tone made him not argue. He said something quick in Korean to his parents. Halmoni said something sharp back. Ryan ignored her. They walked to the car in silence. The moment the doors closed, Ryan turned to her. What happened? Did someone say something to you? No, Ryan. No one said anything to me. That's the problem. I sat through 3 hours of being invisible. 3 hours of your family speaking Korean around me like I wasn't even there. 3 hours of you letting it happen. Amara, that's just how they are. They're more comfortable in Korean. It's not personal. Amara laughed. A bitter, broken sound. Not personal. Ryan, your grandmother literally said dinner was a test. A test I failed because I don't speak Korean. Because I'll never be Korean. Because I can't give you properly Korean children. How do you... Who told you that? Does it matter? Is it true? Ryan's silence was answer enough. You let me sit there. You let them exclude me, judge me, talk about me like I was invisible. You didn't translate. You didn't stand up. You didn't tell them to speak English so I could be part of my own boyfriend's family dinner. What was I supposed to do, Amara? Disrespect my grandmother? Demand they change how they've always done things? It's their house. Yes. Yes, that's exactly what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to make me feel welcome. You were supposed to include me. You were supposed to stand up and say, the woman I love is here, and we're going to make sure she feels like she belongs. It's not that simple with my family. It was simple with mine. My family welcomed you with open arms. My dad taught you recipes. My mom fed you like you were her own son. My brother treated you like family from day one. We spoke English even though my mom would have been more comfortable in Yoruba. We made sure you felt included because that's what you do when you love someone. Tears were streaming down Amara's face now. I have spent my entire life being other. Being too black for some spaces, too American for others. I thought with you I'd finally found a place where I didn't have to translate myself. Where I could just be. But your family made me feel like I was nothing. And you let them. Amara, I love you. You know I love you. Love isn't enough, Ryan. Love without action is just words. And your actions tonight told me that when it matters, when you have to choose between making me comfortable or keeping your family comfortable, you'll choose them every time. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I dressed carefully so I'd look respectable. I brought flowers. I researched Korean etiquette. I smiled through 3 hours of being treated like furniture. And your grandmother spent that whole time deciding I wasn't good enough because I don't have the right DNA. They sat in the parked car outside Amara's apartment. The streetlight cast long shadows. Neither moved to get out. Ryan, I need you to hear me. Really hear me. I am not asking your family to love me immediately. I'm not even asking them to like me. But I am asking for basic respect. Basic inclusion. If they're going to be part of my life, they need to see me as a human being, not an inconvenience. They just need time. My grandmother is from a different generation. That's not an excuse anymore, Ryan. My Nigerian grandmother is 84 years old. She grew up in a village without electricity. She's from a different generation too. But when you came to our house, she spoke English. Broken, heavily accented English, but she tried. Because she respected that you were important to me. Ryan was quiet for a long time. What do you want me to do? I want you to go back there. Tonight. Tomorrow. whenever. And I want you to tell them that if I'm going to be in your life, they need to make an effort. Not for me, for you. Because you love me and they should respect that. And if I do that and they don't change, then you have a choice to make. Them or me. And honestly, Ryan, if they make you choose, if they give you that ultimatum, that tells you everything you need to know about how much they actually care about your happiness. That's not fair to put that on me. Life isn't fair. But relationships require courage. And right now, I need to know if you have the courage to stand up for us. Not just to me in private, but to them where it matters. Amara got out of the car. She didn't look back. She walked into her apartment building, and only when she was inside did she let herself collapse. The tears came then, heavy and ugly. She'd been through hard things before. Racism, sexism, the 1,000 small cuts of being a black woman in America. But this was different. This was being rejected by the family of someone she loved. This was being told, in the silence of another language, that she would never be enough. Her phone buzzed. Ryan. I'm sorry. I love you. I'll fix this. Amara didn't respond. Words were easy. Action was what mattered now. 3 days passed. Amara didn't call Ryan. He didn't call her. The silence stretched between them like a test of its own. On day 4, Emily called Amara. He did it. Ryan went back to the house. He told them everything. What happened? Halmoni yelled. Mom cried. Dad tried to stay neutral. Ryan stood his ground. He told them if they wanted him in their lives, they needed to respect you. He said the Korean-only dinner was disrespectful, and it wasn't happening again. What did they say? Halmoni said he was choosing a stranger over his family. Ryan said you weren't a stranger, you were his future. Then Halmoni said if that's his choice, he's no longer welcome in her home. Amara's heart sank. So that's it then. Wait, I'm not done. Dad stepped in. He said something I've never heard him say before. He told Halmoni that she didn't get to exile Ryan. That this wasn't Korea in 1950. That Ryan was a grown man, and if he loved you, the family needed to at least try. Your dad said that? In Korean, very quiet, very firm. And Halmoni? She didn't back down exactly, but she didn't push back either. Mom started crying harder. Then Ryan said he was leaving, and if they wanted to see him again, they knew what they needed to do. That night, Ryan showed up at Amara's apartment. He looked exhausted, but there was something different in his eyes. Determination. I told them. I stood up. I said everything you asked me to say and more. And I meant it, Amara. If they can't make an effort, if they can't see how incredible you are, then I don't need them in my life. Ryan, I never asked you to cut off your family. I know, but you asked me to choose where I stand. And I stand with you. Amara pulled him inside. They held each other for a long time. What happens now? I don't know. Maybe they come around. Maybe they don't. But I'm done hiding you. I'm done letting them make you feel like you're not good enough. Because you are. You're everything. 2 weeks passed. Then 3. Ryan didn't hear from his parents. The silence from his family was deafening. Amara watched him struggle. Saw him check his phone constantly. Saw the pain in his eyes when Mother's Day approached and he didn't call his mom. You should call her. I don't want to be the reason you lose your family. You're not the reason. Their inability to accept change is the reason. And I'm tired of making excuses for them. But Amara could see the toll it was taking. She loved him too much to let him sacrifice everything. Ryan, I need you to listen to me. I'm going to give them one more chance. One more dinner. But this time we set the terms. If they agree to speak English, to make an effort, I'll come. If not, then we know where we stand and we move forward without them. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. For us. Ryan called his mother. The conversation was short, tense. When he hung up, he looked at Amara. Sunday. One more dinner, she said. She said they'll try. Sunday arrived. Amara dressed differently this time. Not to impress. She wore jeans, a beautiful African print blouse her mother had given her, and her natural hair in an afro. She was done shrinking. Ryan held her hand as they walked up the path. Whatever happens, we leave together. Together. Mrs. Kim opened the door. She looked older than Amara remembered. Tired. Amara. Welcome back. Please come in. English. The first word was in English. The table was set again, but this time, there were only 5 places. Ryan's parents. Halmoni. Ryan. Amara. Emily had texted earlier. I'll come next time if this one goes okay. Good luck. They sat. The same seats as before, but everything felt different. Mr. Kim spoke first. In Korean. Amara's heart sank. But then, Dad. English. Please. Mr. Kim looked at his son for a long moment. Then he nodded. I say, thank you for come back. We need, learn better. His English was broken, halting, clearly uncomfortable. But he was trying. Mrs. Kim served food. As she placed a dish in front of Amara, she spoke. This is japshi. I make special. Ryan favorite. You try? Thank you. I remember from last time. It was delicious. Halmoni had been silent. She sat at the head of the table watching, judging. Then she spoke. In Korean. Long sentences, firm tone. Amara braced herself. Ryan started to respond, but Mr. Kim held up a hand. He looked at Halmoni, then at Amara. He translated slowly. My mother say, she is old. Old ways hard to change. She say in Korea, family very important. Children choose for whole family, not just self. She say, she worry. Worry Ryan forget where he come from. Amara took a breath. This was her moment. Halmoni, may I speak? Mr. Kim translated to Korean. Halmoni nodded once. I understand family is important. In my culture too, family is everything. My mother came from Nigeria alone. Scared. To give my brother and me opportunities. My father's family has roots in the South going back generations. I carry both their histories. I would never ask Ryan to forget where he comes from. But I also can't erase where I come from. Mr. Kim translated as she spoke. Halmoni listened. Face unreadable. I'm not Korean. I'll never. Continue. 8:31 p.m. Be Korean. But I don't need to be Korean to love your grandson. I don't need to be Korean to respect your family, your traditions, your sacrifices. What I need is to be seen. To be included. To be treated like I matter. Mr. Kim translated, his voice gaining strength. Mrs. Kim's eyes were glistening. Last time I was here, I felt invisible. I sat through a meal understanding nothing, and that silence told me I wasn't welcome. Language can be a bridge or a wall. That night it was a wall. And I'm asking, not demanding, asking that if I'm going to be part of Ryan's life and therefore part of your family, that you build bridges instead. Halmoni listened to the translation. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she spoke in Korean, shorter this time, her voice less sharp. She say, she did not think of it as wall. She think, we speak Korean, we are family. We are comfortable. She not think how you feel. She say, this is not excuse. But she ask you understand, difficult for her. Change difficult. It wasn't an apology. But it was acknowledgement. And that was something. I understand change is difficult. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for effort. Halmoni spoke again, directly to Amara this time. Still in Korean, but her eyes held something different. Not warmth exactly, but not contempt either. She say, she want ask you question. She want know. You know make kimchi? No, I've never made kimchi. Maybe, I teach you. Next time you come. You learn Korean food. I learn about you. It was small. So small. An offer to teach kimchi. But in that offer was everything. An olive branch. A bridge. I would be honored to learn from you, Halmoni. The meal continued. It wasn't perfect. Halmoni slipped into Korean several times. But each time, Mr. Kim or Mrs. Kim gently translated. The conversation was stilted, full of awkward pauses and broken English. But everyone was trying. At one point, Mrs. Kim asked about Amara's work. Really asked, leaning forward, interested. You help family from other country, yes? This must be hard job. Sad sometimes? Yes, very sad sometimes. But also hopeful. I help people who feel like outsiders find their place. Who feel like they don't belong and I show them they do. Mrs. Kim nodded slowly, and Amara wondered if she understood the parallel. This is good work. Important work. When dinner ended, Amara helped clear the table. In the kitchen, Mrs. Kim spoke to her while washing dishes. I am sorry. For before. We not know how to do this. New for us. But Ryan love you. I see this. So we try. Thank you, Mrs. Kim. That means everything. As they were leaving, Halmoni stopped them at the door. She said something in Korean to Ryan, handed him a container of food, then turned to Amara. She bowed, just slightly, a sign of respect. Amara bowed back. No words were exchanged, but both understood. In the car, Amara and Ryan sat in silence for a moment before he started the engine. You were incredible in there. I was terrified. You didn't show it. You stood your ground without disrespecting them. You built the bridge I was too scared to build. We built it together. You stood up to them first. You made this possible. Ryan took her hand. My grandmother never bows to anyone. What she did at the door, that was huge. It was a start. Just a start. We have a long way to go. But we're going together. Together. 3 months later, Amara returned to the Kim house. This time for a cooking lesson with Halmoni. It was awkward. Halmoni's English was minimal, and Amara's Korean was limited to basic phrases she'd been learning from an app. But they communicated. Through gestures. Through Ryan translating occasionally. Through the universal language of cooking side by side. You do like this. Slow. Patient. Cannot rush kimchi. Cannot rush family. Cannot rush family. I understand. It wasn't a fairy tale. There were still difficult moments. Times when Halmoni forgot and spoke only Korean. Times when Mrs. Kim made comments that stung. Times when Amara felt like an outsider. But there were also breakthroughs. The day Halmoni asked about Nigerian food. Curious. The day Mrs. Kim complimented Amara's hair. The day Mr. Kim asked about her father and actually listened to the answer. Small moments. Small victories. 6 months after that second dinner, Ryan proposed. He did it at Amara's parents' house with both families present. When he asked Mr. Thompson for his blessing, he did it in English but then turned to his own father and asked in Korean too. Your daughter, she teach us see different. We grateful. She make Ryan happy. Make our family bigger, better. The wedding was a year later. A fusion of cultures. Nigerian and Korean and Black American traditions woven together. Amara wore a white dress for the ceremony, then changed into both a traditional Nigerian gele and wrapper, and later, a hanbok that Halmoni had given her. 3 outfits. 3 cultures. 1 love. During the reception, Halmoni approached Amara. She handed her a small wooden box. She says this belonged to her mother. It's been passed down 3 generations. She wants you to have it, to pass to your daughter someday. Inside was a delicate jade necklace. Halmoni, I can't accept this. This is for your family. You are family. 3 words. Heavy with meaning. Heavy with acceptance earned over time. Amara embraced Halmoni, and the older woman hugged her back. Stiff, formal, but real. It wasn't perfect. Amara and Ryan's marriage would continue to navigate cultural differences, family expectations, and the challenge of creating their own traditions from 2 very different worlds. But they had something important. They had respect. They had effort. They had 2 families who, despite their fears and prejudices and differences, chose to build bridges instead of walls. Because love, real love, isn't about erasing differences. It's about seeing them, acknowledging them, and choosing connection anyway. People ask me if it's worth it. Loving someone from a different culture when the families make it hard. And I always say the same thing. The question isn't whether it's worth it. The question is, are both of you willing to stand in the middle and build the bridge together? Because that's where love lives. In the middle. In the space where 2 worlds meet. And if you're both willing to stand there, to hold that space, to demand respect while giving it, then yes, it's worth everything. This was Amara and Ryan's story. A love that demanded to be seen. A family that learned to see differently. And a woman who refused to be invisible. Because sometimes the most radical act of love is refusing to disappear. Love doesn't ask permission. It doesn't follow rules. It just is. And sometimes that's enough. Thank you for listening to this story from Forbidden Hearts. If you've ever felt invisible in your own relationship, if you've ever had to fight to be seen, share your story in the comments below. You are not alone. And remember, your love story is valid, no matter who tries to silence it.